Hi, my name is Carla McLeod. I teach 7th grade social studies at Cedar Bluff Middle School. Today, I wanted to go over some possible answers to last week's social studies task. You watched a video with Miss Lori Cox from South Doyle Middle School, and after that, I would like to go over a few questions as a review to follow up with last week's lesson. So let's go ahead and look at your foldable that you made. It should look something like this. I know you can't really see the words, but I made a PowerPoint to go over some possible answers. So here's the essential questions on the outside. You open your elevator doors, and then you have the answers to the questions, and then your sketch or symbol that helps you remember what the word means. So we use these standards that are on the screen. You can pause them and read them for yourself. And the first thing I'd like to do is go ahead and review those foldable answers. So the first thing that you had on your foldable was the 3 laws of motion, and it asked you to go ahead and list them. So the first one states an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless acted upon by unbalanced forces. Number 2, force equals mass times acceleration. And the third one, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And then I just used some clip art inside of my foldable. I use clip art on all of these just for the ease of presenting. Next we had the elliptical orbits. And the question asks for you to describe how planets move in ellipses or ovals. So planets move in ellipses or ovals, and they do not travel at the same speed. Planets move much faster as they approach the sun and slower than when they are farther away. And once again, you could have gotten this information from the lesson last week out of the text provided by Ms. Cox. Next, we have geocentric theory. And the question was, describe the geocentric theory. So all celestial objects, including the planets, sun, moon, and stars, orbit the Earth. And this theory was popularized by Ptolemy. Then we have the heliocentric theory that states that planets orbited the sun and the moon orbited the Earth, and the sun was the center of the universe. Then we had the scientific method, and you were supposed to list the steps. 1, make an observation. 2, generate a question. 3, formulate a hypothesis. 4, develop testable predictions. 5, gather data to test predictions. 6, develop general theories or refine, alter, expand, or reject hypotheses. Then you had Galileo. And your question was, why did the Catholic Church want to stop the spread of Galileo's idea? So Galileo helped prove Copernicus's heliocentric theory. And this theory conflicted with the beliefs of the church because they were still believing the geocentric theory at this time. Next we had Kepler. And the question was, how does Kepler's model of the universe differ from Copernicus's model of the universe? So Kepler believed that the planets revolved around the sun in oval paths called an ellipse, not a circular path as believed before. Then we do have Copernicus. He developed the heliocentric theory, as we mentioned, meaning that the sun was the center of the universe. Then we have Francis Bacon. And he popularized the scientific method, which utilized gathering and analyzing data from experiments and observations to discover the laws of science. And lastly, we have Newton. Newton's law of universal gravitation states that gravity is a force of attraction that pulls together all matter. The more matter something has, the greater the force of its gravity. And once again, your answers did not have to be exactly like mine, just something similar. Now what I'd like to do is offer up a couple of review tasks for you. You can use your text that was provided in the last lesson, and you can annotate it, mark it up, whatever you need to do to answer these two questions. So the first thing asks us to write a paragraph using evidence from the scientific revolution reading from last week, and you need to explain which scientist you think made the greatest contribution to the scientific revolution, whether it be Galileo, Bacon, Copernicus, Newton, or Kepler. So when we say use evidence, that means you look back at the text and state where you found your evidence for your answer. Okay, this is just going to be a short paragraph. And remember, you can pause this video while you answer this question. And you had a task sheet that looks like this to answer the questions on, whether you got it in your packet or printed it, or you can just answer this question on notebook paper. The second thing says to write a paragraph using evidence from the scientific revolution reading from last week, explaining which scientific theory you think most influenced the growth of the scientific revolution. And you can think about all the theories you learned about in the text and on your foldable, and once again, using the evidence from the text, tell us which one you think is the most influential. Thank you again for watching this video, and good luck.